Good evening. My name is Lindsay Crawford and I am the president of the Junior League of Austin. It is my pleasure to welcome you tonight to our virtual Austin Entertains program. We are thrilled to have you with us here as we celebrate females and the Austin culinary community. I did want to take a minute to say my personal gratitude to each of you for your support and flexibility when we made the decision to postpone the event, to allow our city and our chefs time to repair and heal from the recent winter storms. One of our greatest assets in the city are the people who live here, and I'm continually grateful for the grace and the genuine love with which our community serves each other. And tonight we have an incredible program set out for you. We're super excited to show you some chef demonstration, have some mixologists mixing up some tasty cocktails. We have music and live and dance performances, as well as a silent auction, a Peloton bike raffle, and the presentation of our second annual Austin Entertains Fellowship. Proceeds from tonight's event go to support the mission and the work of the Junior League of Austin, including our incredible signature programs, Kicks, Kids in Cool Shoes, Fit, Food and Tummies, as well as Coats for Kids. We want to thank our presenting sponsor for tonight, Sewell Jaguar Land Rover of North Austin, our fellowship sponsors, and our ticket holders for making this evening possible. So now let's get to the fun. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Junior League of Austin to welcome our Master of Ceremonies tonight from KXAN Studio 512, Austin's very own Rosie Newberry. Take it away, Rosie.
Hi, hello, welcome and good evening. Come on down, get settled into your own living room. Feels really weird, quite frankly, to be doing an event this way, but you know what? It's what 2021 calls for, and we are still going to have an amazing evening because I'm here to welcome you to the 5th annual Austin Entertains. I'm your MC for the evening, Rosie Newberry. I'm the host of Studio 512, which is KXAN's lifestyle show. We're on air every weekday from 11 to noon, talking about all the things that make Austin so awesome and such a wonderful place to live. You're going to be reminded of that several times tonight because this is such a cool event. Because every single year, this specific event strives to elevate, celebrate, and bring to light key female talent in our local culinary industry. So, whether you are just sitting at home drinking a glass of wine, or maybe you got your quarantine together and you guys are kind of celebrating in a small pod here, Austin Entertains is going to be reminding you why you love our local culinary talent, why you love the culture of our fantastic city, and why you love supporting the Junior League of Austin's signature programs. As you know, Austin Entertains is hosted by the Junior League of Austin, and it's such a cool organization. It's made up of women committed to promoting volunteerism, developing the potential of women, and improving the community through effective action and the leadership of trained volunteers. As a whole, the JLA is committed to bringing women together to strengthen our community through creative solutions to current and future challenges. And I think this is actually really cool because a huge inspiration for the event tonight is based upon one of those solutions. Among the signature programs that you'd find at the Junior League of Austin is FIT, F-I-T, that stands for Food in Tummies. And that's a program that focuses on providing weekend nourishment to children in kindergarten through 5th grade in the Del Valley School District. So every single week, 250 JLA member volunteers commit 200 hours during the school year, every single week, you heard me say that, to deliver over 8,000 food items and weekend food bags to 1,000 Del Valley ISD students. The overall vision behind FIT is to eliminate weekend hunger in our community and ensure children and families have knowledge to make informed nutritional choices. Two things I just want to say real quickly about that is that you guys know food banks are seeing a lot more foot traffic and a lot more activity than they've seen in recent years, and it's never been more top of mind. So I think that this is an awesome thing for us to be talking about and supporting tonight. And second of all, I'd like to take a moment, if you're one of those 250 JLA member volunteers doing 200 hours every single week to help get these weekend bags in kids' hands, I want to do a quick cheers to you. Here's a quick applause. Even if you're just sitting at home, raise your glass to the screen because that is an incredible amount of work and really deserves to be recognized. So tonight, in partnership with our Austin Entertains chefs, Some of our ticket packages, this is really cool, include an exclusively curated meal from one of our restaurant partners that features a 5-ingredient recipe actually adapted from the FIT program. Similarly to the FIT bags that are distributed weekly in Del Valle, the 5-for-FIT chef-curated meals all include a protein, a starch, a fruit product, and veggies. So not only do you know it's a nutritious meal, but you also know it's going to taste great too. Everything that we're talking about tonight is going to. And in further collaboration with these restaurants, all proceeds from Austin Entertains will provide critical funding to the FIT program. And not only the FIT program, but the Junior League of Austin has lots of other things that they do every single day of every single year. For example, Coats for Kids and KICS, K-I-C-S, Kids in Cool Shoes, supporting the little ones in our community, and I love that. So if you're feeling generous tonight, you're going to hear this more than once. Please do not hesitate to use the donation QR code that's going to be provided throughout the program to help support all of the missions that you just heard a little about. So let's get into tonight, some housekeeping. What are we going to hear? What are we going to see? Tonight we will hear from chefs that have participated in our event. Austin Entertains trivia questions will be sprinkled throughout the show, so be sure to stay tuned for that. We're going to have musical performances by Datura. We'll have a performance by Ballet Austin Company dancers, choreographed by Grace Morton. And we're going to see some great, good-looking food and drinks too, craft cocktails, cake with pickled blueberries and mascarpone cream. Just reading it sounds mouth-watering. And we're going to celebrate this year's fellowship winner. So we also have an amazing silent auction that, if you haven't checked in yet, has actually been live for the last week, and we're going to close it this evening. So if you haven't checked it out yet, now is the time because the window is closing. Our auction team has worked really hard on creating packages that are aimed towards getting out of the house, get you out of that cabin fever, and enjoying some new experiences while still remaining really safe. So we have a package that gives you the opportunity to purchase an entirely planned wedding. I don't know if that's on the docket for you for maybe this year or next year, but what an incredible thing. Or maybe the most amazing gift that you could ever give someone in their lives. So make sure you bid on that. There's also an incredible tequila tasting experience. There's even a backyard movie party, which sounds great for family and friends. I think the kiddos would love that. So be sure to check it out at the website that's going to be on your screen. And before we get started tonight, I'd like to take a minute to just go back in time. Quick flashback here. Seems like just yesterday, this event was being held at the Community Impact Center for 2020, Austin Entertains. It was just a few days later that really, did you notice the chatter started to increase about, oh my goodness, there's this virus, it is so contagious. And then for me personally, it was once we saw South by get canceled, I knew, oh my goodness, things are really about to change. And of course, our entire world has shifted in that amount of time. So we're virtual this year, and I think that's pretty clear. And obviously it's because we want to help keep everybody really nice and safe. However, I'll tell you our hopes for the future. We are crossing our fingers that 2022 Austin Entertains is going to be a blowout in-person extravaganza. We are hoping to be able to hug and shake hands and wave at our neighbors and have a really amazing time. So we're keeping it safe this year in the hopes that things are really going to come back next year. And that's what we want for our culinary scene as well. So everything that you can do tonight to help support what's going on throughout the evening, we really appreciate it. And we're just glad you're spending the evening with us. So let's enjoy good food, performing arts, and the Junior League of Austin's signature programs. We're going to be hearing from a lot of great people tonight, and I'm excited to get going. Let's get started. Okay, let's get into it. It's our very first chef spotlight of the evening, and kicking it off tonight is Carol Huntsberger from Quality Seafood, who's going to be talking to us about her perspective on persevering through these challenging times, as it's been a pretty tough one for the food industry. Welcome, Carol.
So it's all by accident, actually. I actually was a sales director with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and my husband was in financial services. And after 9/11, his industry tanked, and we bought Quality Seafood from a friend of ours from college. I knew nothing about fish, seafood, or anything else, and 17 years later, here I am. So I fell in love with it. I fell in love with everything about the industry. I love what food and drink mean for families. There are memories, and so that's what I love about it, and that's how I got in it, by accident. You know what, just building the business. Quality Seafood just turned 83 years old. So I have felt this incredible, I don't want to call it a burden, but a challenge to make sure that it lives to be 100 years old and to really make it grow. And so when I first got there, we only had fried food on the menu. And so we've evolved, you know what I mean? We have grills now, and we do grilled oysters. And so the memory is in the sky being the limit and getting to try different things. And people are afraid of seafood. It's expensive and they don't want their house to smell. So it's about education. And so it's all a great memory. Every piece of it, everything. I mean, I have just a million stories to tell. It's been a little challenging. The seafood industry is pretty much a man's world, really. I have been very, very fortunate that the men at Quality Seafood, who are very familiar, who had been there years before me, have shared all of their knowledge. And I have learned that money talks, and if I pay them all the fishermen and everything for the fish right away, then they have a deep respect for me. And so they've learned from me the quality that we want to have, what I expect to be able to give to our customers. Because we have people who come in and take fish home to cook, we have customers in our restaurant, and then we sell to restaurants. I mean, 50% of our business is to sell to other restaurants. And so the relationships are very, very deep throughout all of Austin. And so the challenges exist, but they always do, and I think they always will for women for a little bit in all things that we do. But I think we just have to rise above every chance we can and know that we can do it. It's cut our business in half. You know what I mean? It's been a big challenge because we have restaurants that are closing. Challenging and heartbreaking. Do you know what I mean? To see friends and chefs who are going to lose and have lost their businesses. But we just have to work. You know, we just have to work together and rise above this. We're still not out of the challenges. I mean, if they take everything to the $15 an hour, it's going to be a huge change in our industry. So we've still got other events that are coming up. But you know, I just think you have to believe in God, put one step in front every day, and go out and do your very best. Because the challenges are always going to be there. It's what we do to overcome them. We've always been really active with Rodeo Austin, the Coastal Conservation Association. I sat on the board for Candlelight Ranch that serves at-risk children. And there's just about anybody that asks me for any kind of donation, we try to give something back in the community. I think that's the most important thing that we can do, is to help each other, because we're all in this together, whatever it is. So from schools to just giving gift certificates, whatever it is, you know, I think that's part of what comes back to us, right? Is when we give, we get more. And so we've been really fortunate at Quality Seafood. It's been mind-boggling for me through this pandemic, for all the stuff that we've given, all of the people in Austin that have come back to give back to us. And it's made me really happy, and it's really touched me how giving our Austin community is, from the Junior League, the CCA, I mean, everyone's just Rodeo Austin. Everybody's been so good and so generous back to Quality Seafood. So it'll have us giving for the rest of our lives, I'm sure. So I did something that I thought would be kind of fun and easy that people could take home and put in their oven and have a hot dish, because seafood doesn't really travel really well. So I thought we would do something that would be easy cleanup, wouldn't make the house smell too bad, and people would enjoy. So we did a sea bass and papillote, so in parchment paper. So we did a rice pilaf with some spinach with our sea bass, and then our secret butter with shallots and wine. Add a little more wine, a little lemon, a little tomatoes, and some salt and pepper. Wrap it up in the parchment paper, tie a pretty bow, put it in the oven, take it out, and then wrap your present. So it was simple and fun. So we have rice, spinach, tomatoes, some lemon, and sea bass. So there we go. So I think just still be brave. Someone told me the other day, Carol, I think you're the only restaurant in town that's really doing the 6-foot rule. And I've had so many people come in and tell me that they feel safe. So we've gone, I think, the extra step at quality. We're still eating on paper, so we aren't transferring anything via a cup or a fork that may not get cleaned completely. You know what I mean? Just things happen in big crowds, right, in an environment. So we're following all the rules. We're asking everyone to follow the rules and just come support us. We've got curbside, dine in, take out. We can do all kinds of little catering, like prepare these meals and you can take them home. So just don't be afraid to ask us what we can do to make your life easier at home. My dream is clams and linguine. You can ask my son. I think I made it every day when he was in, or once a week at least while he was in high school. So clams and linguine. It's awesome. Thank you. Just thank you. Thank you, especially to the Junior League. I know you had a gazillion restaurants to choose from. We appreciate and are very grateful to be a part of this. I don't know, it's very moving, very touching to me every day. We're gonna get through it. We can do it. Austin, we're great, we're wonderful, and I know that we support each other and we just have to keep doing that. Today we're gonna make our sea bass and papillote. So I just wanted to show you kind of how we build this and put this together. So you start out with a rice pilaf. You wanna make the rice ahead of time. You can do it the day before if you want and serve it cold. You wanna do a nice big serving on here and make sure that you've cooked it with lots of butter because butter makes everything really good. Okay, so we're gonna just load this up with a nice hefty serving of rice. And then we are going to top that with some beautiful green spinach. And just kind of decorate this around just the top. And that's gonna cook just and be beautiful. Then you wanna pick out a piece of beautiful Chilean sea bass. Chilean sea bass is also known as Patagonia toothfish. That's actually what it's really called. It was renamed as a Chilean sea bass because it sounds much more romantic than a Patagonia toothfish. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, then next we're just gonna pour a few little cherry tomatoes. You could add different colors of tomatoes if you want. I just pulled out some little red cherry ones from the market this morning. And then we're gonna add, which is our secret ingredient, it's a butter with wine and shallots, and put a little scoop of that right on top. Then we're gonna place a couple little pieces of lime on top, and a little salt and pepper. I didn't tell you about this secret ingredient earlier. You wanna put a little wine on here. We're gonna wrap this up and make it look like a beautiful little present. Put one little spinach leaf here in the middle. And then you just wanna take the paper, pull this together. Tie this up, and you've got a beautiful present, a beautiful dinner. So all you have to do is put this in the oven and bake it, pull it out, put it on a platter, open it up, eat right off the paper. Easy, easy peasy cleanup, and a most wonderful romantic dinner.
Hey everyone, just a quick reminder here, our silent auction is still open, so don't miss your chance to bid on an amazing Austin staycation, sounds blissful, or to take part in Barbecue University, which I didn't know was a thing, but it's where you're gonna learn to smoke some brisket like a true professional. Do it like they do it in Texas. Bidding is going to close at 8 p.m. This is your first heads up. And additionally, a little later, we're going to announce who has won our raffle item, which is a Peloton bike. Very, very cool. The raffle was pulled yesterday, so we were able to announce our winner on this broadcast. And all winners of auction items and the raffle will be contacted within the next couple of days to ensure delivery of their winnings. It's the good stuff. So now please enjoy a special performance by our guest musician, Datura.
Hi everybody, thank you for tuning in and thank you for Austin Entertains for having us. I'm Datura. We have Paul Deemer on horns tonight and Greg Clifford on the drums. It's called Kind of Love. I want a classic car. Velvet interior, dash on the mirror. I want a rim shot, headlight, cold sheet on a hot night, horror on a long flight. Kind of love, kind of love. I want an 8-ball on the first shot, shotgun with the roof down, downtown at 3 a.m. with no one else around. Kind of love. Smoke a fat cigar, watch the moonrise. I want your dark eyes. I want a salad door, me and more. Fall asleep on the bathroom floor. Sail tonight to Singapore. I wanna wake up with you tangled up in me, with my feet tangled in your feet. Eyes heavy, red cherry wine. I wanna love you with a bang, bang, bang. Fresh flowers in the rain, smoky room, cheap perfume. I want a window open. Devotion kind of love is hoping kind of love. Sentimental mood, Rhapsody in blue, Claire de Lune. With a corner bow that skylark clouds, but never upside down, more named up kind of love. I want 24 hours in Cuba, I want your holy hallelujah. I want your rhythm, I want your blues, I want your Sunday, I want your Tuesday, I want your Saturday. I want a tenor sax in a dark alleyway. I wanna look into your bed, I wanna see what's in your head. I wanna see you, I want you to see me too. smoothly. Any other string and I love.
Okay, let's get geared up for Chef Spotlight number 2. Our second chefs plural of the evening are actually a mother-daughter duo, and they're from Buenos Aires Cafe. They're sharing insight on how COVID-19 has changed their daily life and their business as well. Welcome Reina Morris and Paola Guerrero. Hi.
Well, I choose when I moved here in 1997, and I didn't like the food, and I decided to go to the school and start making my own the food that I like it, that I love it. So it was different, you know, that time Austin was a different city. So
We were missing home.
yeah,
For sure. So we were kind of like craving that flavor.
yeah.
And yeah, for me, I started in the restaurant industry because of her. It's all her fault. I graduated from architecture school. I worked for a few years, and then she decided to open a second location. I wasn't very happy where I was at. She asked for help, and I very painfully said, oh, okay, I'll go help you, but just for a little bit. And it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
It turns out I love it. I love it so much. It's been like a really wonderful, it's a beautiful industry. Tough, but it's very beautiful. I fell in love with it.
Food was very important when I was a kid with my mom, all the memories. It's just love and comfort, and I don't know, I love that. I think it for me was always trying to be connected with her, and the good memories that I have playing with her in the kitchen, and like Paola did when she grew up, you know, and that's pretty much. I'm supposed to be a mechanical engineer. I like the industry and the oil industry, so that was my thing, and I did in Argentina. I never finished the engineer, but I love more cooking, so. But it was that, just the family, and it's like it is the restaurant right now. You know, I do all the dishes that I do is just part the food that I will grow in and make me feel happy and feel the comfort and the hug. You know, that's pretty much.
I'm inspired by how diverse it is to like have never known the industry and then slowly like getting into it and discover all the different facets. It's not just food, it's not just administration, it's like a cohesive like ecosystem pretty much. And to discover all of those different parts has been very, very eye-opening and really really inspiring, to be honest, to work side by side with different people from like very various backgrounds and upbringings and cultures. It's very inspiring to, you know, I think like one of the funniest memories I have opening the restaurant or starting to work at the restaurant was the chef at the time said, I'm gonna make polenta. And I thought, yes, that's like super Argentine, I love it. He was like, yes, like so Italian. And I was like, what do you mean? and to like find out like how much diversity there is in between the cultures. What I thought was so Argentine, it turns out that it has roots in so many other countries like Spain and Italy and even English and French and German.
it's so wonderful. It's very inspiring.
Wow, a lot, it's just incredible what they're doing it and helping, this is a very tough time for everybody, not only the restaurant industry, and it's incredible, all the work and the thing that are doing it to help us. I think it will be incredible. Thankful for that.
Absolutely. And there's also like I think like that community, that feeling of community, like your community's out there to like help you out.
The support.
And the support.
The hug,
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Specifically, like financially speaking, it would help out to maintain the ecosystem, and like we have been like in a transition, and like we still don't know what all of that entails, right? Because things keep changing, and never in a million years I would have thought that we would be here today, experiencing what we are experiencing with our business, and to be able to have the resources to like keep improving and maintaining the first of all our team, which is everything. Nothing works if you don't have a team.
Yeah.
So to keep our team afloat and healthy and safe, I think it's like the most important thing to be taken care of right now.
Yeah, this is like a family. So there are not only employees, there are some of them, most of them, so we help in so many ways, in particular things that they need, so the support, sometimes money, or they go through a lot of stuff as well. So and it's we are there to support them, So people have been working with me since the first day. So I'm still here for 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still with me. So this is family. And
They're my grandma's recipes. And I love those meatballs so much. So delicious. And
yeah,
like she says, it's like an extension of it's like our comfort food. And it's like I feel like grandma would be here right now, like enjoying that, It's like keeps going with this like our family mission at the restaurant, and like bringing our culture to Austin. Ooh. How much time do we have?
Oh my God, that was incredible. It was just, when this happened in March, by the end of May, June, it was just really hard. I have a little house that I was renting, so I have to sell that at a very low price in order to cover the expenses. To support, still paying the rent, because the rent is still 100% and the taxes 100%. And we were paying some people that we know that they needed money, and they didn't receive any stimulus checks. So it was no way to have that much money. So I did that, and I'm so thankful that I was able to do it and help. So it was tough, but at the same time, I think it helped us to think in a different way and become better, stronger, to navigate this. And we're still here, we're still in the business. So we are very incredible how the customers support us. It was just unbelievable, because we were closed pretty much for 2 months. We didn't receive anything of this to go pick up. It wasn't that much. But then little by little was coming in that way, and so we were having more business. But I was so impressed how the customers, they spend $20 and they give $300. And I said, it happens so many times, they said, that's for you guys, that's for the servers, because we try to keep the servers. So they were supporting us. So that was amazing.
Yes. Yeah. It was tough because, we are an older restaurant, and we were all 100% like word of mouth.
Yeah.
No online
It's
presence.
not a corporation.
Really. We had like the occasional online order that was always come to like as a surprise when it printed in the kitchen, and to go from a very, you know, that model of like so many years. In 2020 we were looking at our best year yet. At our 6th Street location, like our speakeasy was doing wonderful, and the restaurant had like lots of parties and catering orders, and it was looking at like a really prosperous year, and like everything came to like such a hard stop, and to change into this to-go model, and not only just like packing the food, but you know, it's also like we're representing us at anything that we do. So to translate that into the to-go experience, that was what? That was very hard, like the challenge of the actual like business model. Today we have subscriptions for like the wine club, the Oceanside Wine Club, and items from the kitchen, and it's been really fun, and it's giving our kitchen the opportunity to like develop more and like get creative. We had to like, in the meantime, like, you know, make our menu like shrink it like significantly. Yeah. We also had to let go of some staff that we've been working with for like so many years. We had like a great team, and we worked so well together. So that was very difficult. And I mean, it's still a struggle, you know, being at 50% capacity or 75% capacity doesn't really, what makes it hard is like she said, everything else is at 100%. Yep. So you're still 100% liable for property taxes and payroll taxes and rent and utilities and renewal of licenses and insurance. Oh my God, yeah. Insurance. Which is, you know, it's like, I also had to, I didn't pay myself for many months so that I could pay my staff. Yeah. And, you know, you make the sacrifices where you need to make them in order to keep your staff and your business afloat. What you guys start doing is like already like amazing. You know, it's just like she said, like the community has been so loving and so supportive, and it's very heartwarming and humbling also. To have gone through such dark time and rely on family, rely on the community, on you. I think that's you have it in you. Everybody has it in them to
stay together. Family, friends, whatever, you know, stay together. That's very important.
Absolutely.
Supporting each other.
Of course, not just the culinary arts were affected in the past year. There were many segments of our community that have really had to switch up the game in order to stay afloat. So please help me welcome the board of Zilker Theater Productions as they introduce the Ballet Austin Company of Dancers in a performance choreographed by Grace Morton.
Hello, I'm Malia Parker, Vice President of the Zilker Theater Productions Board. ZTP is a nonprofit organization that produces free professional musicals and sponsors community outreach programs serving the greater Austin area. We love providing the community free theater at Zilker Park, and for 63 years we've been recognized as a family-friendly Austin tradition for all.
Every year, ZTP partners with the Austin Parks and Recreation Department as well as the City of Austin to provide the annual summer musical. In addition to providing the summer musical, these partnerships allow us to implement youth outreach and theater training programs to those in the greater Austin area. These participants have gone on to perform not only on the Hillside, but also on Broadway, cruise ships, touring performances, and international theater productions. Without these partnerships and the support from our community we have served for over 60 years, this would not have been possible.
2020 was a challenging year for everyone. Because of the safety restrictions required to keep our community safe, many arts organizations were forced to close their doors and were adversely affected by COVID-19. For the first time in 62 years, ZTP was not able to produce a summer musical. Just as we were preparing to present Mamma Mia, Austin enforced the stay-at-home order. In order to ensure that the cast, crew, and audience were not exposed to COVID-19, ZTP made the difficult decision to cancel the show for the year.
Canceling the 2020 summer musical was an incredibly difficult decision that needed to be made to ensure the safety and wellness of the community at large. With that decision, it also included the cancellation of our youth outreach and training programs supported by ZTP. So in an effort to continue to reach our audiences, virtually of course, we produced a series of holiday videos that we shared on our social media channels. That had a great response from our audience, and we had a lot of people reach out to actually say they were appreciative of the organization.
Despite the challenges of 2020, we are actively working with the City of Austin to produce a socially distanced musical this summer. The safety of our cast, crew, production team, and the community is our top priority. With that in mind, if we are able to produce a musical, this year's musical will be scaled down to ensure that we follow CDC guidelines while continuing to provide quality theater for all. Zilker Theater Productions' ability to continue to provide to the community is driven by donations on the hillside, sponsorships, and individual donors. Due to the pandemic and the cancellation of the show in 2020, we were unable to collect our normal annual contributions. If you would like to help us keep this Austin tradition alive, we are accepting donations through our website, zilker.org. If you wish to have additional information about ZTP, we will be posting information about the upcoming musical both on our website and on our social media pages. We hope to be able to keep this tradition alive for many years to come, and we hope to see you on the hillside soon.
All right, let's shake it up. Time for a cocktail. Please welcome Taryn Guti and Rachel Pry, who are with Elevate Bartending. We've had them on Studio 512, and we absolutely love Elevate Bartending. They are going to demonstrate for us how to make our signature cocktail for Austin Entertains 2021, which is a bourbon smash. Let's do it.
Hi, my name is Rachel Fry. I am one of the owners of Elevate Bartending, and this is my partner, Taryn Goody.
Hi, everybody.
Taryn and I have owned Elevate coming on 4 years right now, and we've been lucky enough to participate in Austin Entertains for 3 years. So we're really excited to be here with you guys this year in a different, reimagined, virtual, safe environment. So, Taryn, what drink are we gonna make first tonight for everyone?
We're gonna be making the bourbon smash.
Oh my gosh, I love this drink. It's so great and really easy to make at home. So, Taryn, what are we gonna put in it?
So it has a couple key ingredients. It has our Remington Revival whiskey, which is made here in Texas. So we're definitely a big supporter of that. And it has a little bit of simple syrup and ginger and some muddled cherries. It's really good.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, let's get started. So what kind of glass are you gonna use?
I'm gonna use a rocks glass. So you want a shorter glass. This is a pretty cool glass and perfect for bourbon. So first step is we're going to muddle our 3 cherries. So let me go ahead and get that. I love the dark cherries. They're a spin on the classic maraschino cherry. I love these cherries. They're a wonderful touch. These are a little bit darker and so delicious. You can find them at any liquor store around town. So we're gonna start with 3 cherries right into that glass. So
awesome, I love those cherries.
Me too. And then get yourself a muddler. You need a muddler at home. And we're gonna muddle these cherries and get all of that nice, tasty juiciness out of there.
So good.
All right, next up, we're gonna fill the glass all the way with ice. And we're not gonna shake this one. Ice is a key ingredient in drinks, right?
Yeah, the ice is really good. Personally, I like these. A lot of ice.
A lot of ice, and then it creates the right balance. So we're gonna get our whiskey, and we're gonna do 1.5 ounces. I'm gonna be free pouring my whiskey, so I'm gonna be counting as it's coming out of the top. So it might sound tricky, but for every 4 count, that's gonna be 1 ounce. If you don't feel comfortable, you're more than okay to use a jigger or use your shot glass to measure it. So 1.5 ounces, that's gonna be a 6 count.
Learning how to free pour was such a good time to spend to get that skill down, because you use it really for everything. Cooking, I use that skill all the time.
That's so true. All right, next up we have a 1/2 ounce of our lemon juice. So I love to use the fresh citrus, so I invested in a hand squeezer. So this is my favorite way to get that fresh juice with lemons and limes. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. So 1/2 ounce, it just depends on the lemon. Just eyeball it, and if it doesn't seem like enough, you can add a little bit more. After you squeeze that lemon in, we're gonna do a 1/4 ounce of the simple syrup. Simple syrup is so easy to make at home, y'all. You just do a 1-to-1 ratio of hot water and sugar, and you give it a nice stir or put it in the blender and pop it into the fridge, and that will last you
about a month.
Yeah.
I like to make mine on the stove too, so I'll just put it in the stove and then put it in a little mason jar and keep it for about a month and use it to sweeten anything I need.
Perfect. So another way to do this too, if you want to get it really incorporated, you can use a
shaker. I like this much better. I really like my drinks super cold, so I like to give them a quick short shake and then top it off with the butter.
Perfect. And now that's going to give it a nice frothiness. Pour it into your glass, and then for your last step, you're going to top it with the ginger ale. And you always want to do this last. You don't want to put anything carbonated into the shaker, it'll make it go flat. So do this as your last step. And for our garnish, we can do a lemon peel. If you have a hand peeler at home, you just take it and get a nice little peel. You're going to go ahead and espresso it over the drink and give it a twist and set it right on the edge. All right, Rachel, taste it.
All right, this looks so good. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Yes, I'm ready for Martha. Love it. That's so good. Great job, Taryn. I really like this one. You're welcome.
Oh my goodness, Taryn and Rachel, thank you so much for showing us a bourbon smash. It looks absolutely delicious. All I've got next to me is water. I'm gonna have to get on the bourbon train here shortly. A friendly reminder, everybody, this is the time to go crazy because the silent auction is going to close at 8 p.m. It's in about 10 minutes from now. So please use the QR code that you see below to make your last minute bids. This is where most everybody else is giving up. So if you haven't thrown a bid in yet, get wild because you never know if you're going to be able to walk away with that prize. And as a reminder, you will be contacted in the next couple of days to hear if you won something or maybe a couple of somethings. So we'd like to bring up our next chef spotlight. It's our third of the evening and I love her. It's Chef Crystal Craig from Intero, who is an absolute chocolate genius. She is going to talk to us about why she chose culinary arts and how winning the 2020 Austin Entertains Fellowship has really meant so much to her. Welcome, Crystal.
I ended up choosing culinary arts as a career path just because I personally like to be challenged. I also need a creative outlet, so being in the culinary arts, especially in chocolate and pastry work, allows me to do that. It's both extremely stimulating and you get an end result, you keep growing, and yeah, so just like the continued challenge of it. I feel like growing up in Austin, actually, and watching two people that are very close to me open and operate and run, still have a restaurant to this day. It was very, very inspiring. And then not only that, but I also worked at Amy's Ice Creams as my first job when I was 15. So between watching a couple, very close adults to me run, open, and operate a restaurant, and then also working at Amy's, where she was very involved, in her shops at the time, it was just really inspiring to watch people, do what they wanted to do, especially in food. And I like that. So really, I feel like those two things kind of encouraged me growing up to do that. COVID has been extremely hard. I do feel very fortunate and lucky that we were able to pivot so well. And when I say pivot so well, it still means every day, every week, every month has its own challenges, but we have a really good team of people who really care. I feel like my restaurant is such a family-oriented place with a lot of long-term supporters. We've been, just so lucky to have, and just all of those pieces have allowed us to, move in the direction we needed to move in order to survive through it. Yes. So in pivoting with COVID, we basically ended up having to do a takeout, which we had never done before. We were always so worried that we would lose the quality of the food, in translation while it was being transferred. And we just always wanted people to enjoy, right there in the moment, fresh cooked food. So having to go into takeout was completely different. Also, in terms of trying to make things that were maybe a little more approachable, we've always felt that the food at Intero is approachable, but to make it even more approachable, or maybe it could also be shared more with families, things like that. We had to quickly kind of try to figure out how to do that. We also, because we weren't able to use our bar space anymore, ended up using that to bring in a pizza oven so that we could start offering more casual, takeout options, just something a little more familiar. My favorite dish, which is a very, very common dish, even though I think it's a super nostalgic thing for me, is oddly just mashed potatoes and chicken. I don't know why. It's just, my parents made it every Sunday growing up, and it's my favorite thing to eat to this day, and make. Yeah, so basically our basket, which again includes chicken and potatoes, it's kind of like a approachable but still fun and a little bit different kind of setup for a dish. It also includes a really cool kind of Italian themed fruit salad and veggie salad. I'm hoping that within 5 years, one, we are still, operating and hopefully back at our full abilities. I definitely think that we'll be keeping our takeout options, even though, again, it wasn't in our original plan, but it's been a really nice way to reach out to new people. And I kind of like being able to offer just different casual, more family-oriented meals that I think people don't always typically get when they come to our restaurant. A lot of people see Italian restaurants as either, special, date, things like that, when we really do want it to be more casual. And so I feel like the takeout kind of helps kind of bring that viewpoint. So from here, definitely doing more takeout, hopefully running back at full speed and just continuing to grow with our little family. Maybe by then branching out, maybe a pizza place, the new pizza oven. Well, I love to inspire and work with other women. I actually am in a culinary group that is all women. We work to provide stipends and scholarships to women in the culinary arts. I also am always open to having mentees. I've worked with a lot of high schools before to allow mentees to come in and do programs with me, to kind of work with me for a couple weeks. Pretty much my entire team that I work with, my chocolate assistant, my pastry assistant, my assistant manager, they're all women. So it's really fun to work with and watch women, in the culinary industry growing up and supporting themselves and or supporting each other. Sorry. But yeah, just working with women is my favorite thing, and love being able to be a part of their inspiration, since I feel like when I was growing up, all the women in my life were very inspiring. My mom, my mentors, all awesome women. So I want to pass that on. One word of advice that I would give to other women in the culinary industry is to definitely, be flexible, be determined. Don't let challenges get in your way or figure out how to move through them, but flexibility for sure is the biggest thing. If you have a path in mind and something kind of cuts that short or a hurdle comes along, figure out how to jump over it or go around it and keep going. And also just don't be afraid to take a different path, from the one that you were kind of on if it seems right. So flexibility for sure. I feel like supporting programs like the FIT program is extremely important. One, it's doing so much in our community, especially with young children who maybe don't have the resources, or their parents don't have the resources to help provide nutritional meals. And just learning about nutrition at such a young age and helping to, help instill those habits, for the future is awesome.
Well, how do you wrap up an evening and put a little bow on top? If you're a sugar addict like me, the answer is obviously dessert, right? Please help me welcome Amanda Rockman from Cafe No Say. Literally, she does rock it in the world of desserts. Tonight, she's going to show us how to create the delicious lemon poppy seed cake that is included in some of our ticket packages. Hey, Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda Rockman. I'm the executive pastry chef of New Waterloo Hospitality here in Austin, Texas. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a lemon poppy seed cake with pickled blueberries and some mascarpone cream. This I like to call my quarantine cake because I made this probably the most in 2020. We're going to preheat our oven first. So we're going to do 325. I have some room temperature butter. And we're gonna use light brown sugar and some kosher salt. And we're going to do something called the creaming method. So that means we're gonna use our paddle attachment on our KitchenAid. And we're gonna cream it until it's light and fluffy. And the color is a lot lighter as well. All right, so we're gonna let this cream for a bit. So I have baking powder and all-purpose flour. I've got eggs and vanilla paste in here. Poppy seeds, lemon, and then I have egg whites and I have sugar. So with these two guys, I'm going to zest them and then I'm also going to juice them. So you're using the entire lemon in this cake. When I say this is a lemon cake, I'm not fooling with you. It's lemon. You don't want to skimp, you want to get all of it. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to juice our lemons. Save your lemon scrap, you can compost it later. You don't want any of those little pits in there, so I'm actually going to strain it through. At this point, I'm actually going to show you how to line your cake pan. So you can use a Springforth pan, which doesn't require you to do a parchment. I have a little more old school ones at home. So for those of you who have this, a little trick. Friendly therapy. Your pan preparation is almost as important as any other step in the process of you making your cake. Think ahead as far as like what pan you're going to use. If you've got pan spray, if you need parchment, you want to make sure that every step of the way you're going to be successful. I'm going to take a little bit of pan spray. I'm going to use this to stick. See here, just kind of line it around. And then I'm just going to spray the sides liberally so my pan is ready to go. My butter at this point is, I'm going to say, is probably creamed to perfection. At this point, I'm going to add my eggs and my vanilla paste. I prefer room temp eggs. If it's too cold, it'll kind of shock. You just take it out 10-15 minutes before, you'll be fine. Let's scrape down again. So you want to make sure, again, everything's getting incorporated. I'm not going to take any shortcuts. Lemon juice. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna add our dries and our poppy seeds. So I'm gonna just make sure it's mixed till it's all together. And I'm gonna transfer this to another bowl. And we're gonna use this mixer one more time. So next step, clean bowl. You want a super clean bowl. Egg whites does not like that. Add a pinch of sugar. It's just gonna help keep it nice and stable. So we're gonna let this go for like 5 to 8 minutes. So while this is going, I'm gonna show you how to make pimple blueberries. I have granulated sugar, and I'm gonna take water, more of that trusty lemon zest. Well, we're gonna have vanilla bean and ginger. You can also use a peeler to it if you don't feel not comfortable with a knife. You just want to get as much of the skin without tearing too much into your ginger. I love ginger. I like the spicy flavor of it. So I'm gonna add that to the pot as an aromatic. Then you've got your vanilla bean. So you want to cut it open. Now, I like to go across because I really feel if you're gonna get all those delicious little caviar. And then I'm gonna put the bean in there too. So I have my thyme left over, and I also have my champagne vinegar. So I'm gonna bring this to a boil. What's also nice is that this kind of recipe, you can do other kinds of fruit. You can do pineapple, mango, I mean anything really. I can just list all the fruit that you can do, but it's a really nice recipe to have under your belt. So we're going to check on our egg whites to see how they're going for the actual cake. You see those nice little ribbons? This is what you're looking for. So you can see the fact that they're actually forming nice peeps. What you're looking for. I ain't scared. We're gonna introduce your meringue into your cake. Again, it's kind of a scary step. We're gonna do this together. So I'm gonna take about 1/3 of my meringue and I'm gonna introduce it into my cake batter to lighten it. So I'm just gonna work it into it so it lightens up the actual batter, like so that when I introduce the rest of my meringue, it's not gonna completely deflate it. Rest of the meringue. And I'm gonna kind of do like a nice like scooping motion with my hand to kind of incorporate your meringue. This requires a little bit of skill. Nothing you can't handle. If you can get through 2020, you can handle this cake. When will that joke get old? So it's nice and kind of light, lighter than what it was prior to the actual meringue incorporation. Take your prepared pan. You're gonna deposit all of it into it. Okay, so once you have it there, you can kind of tap it down and just kind of work it to the outside so it's nice and even. So at this point, we're gonna put it in the oven, 325, until it's set. There's a little cracking on the top to indicate that it's done. Your sugar and water and aromatics have come to a boil. So you can really, really smell it. It's really delicious. At this point, I'm gonna add my thyme. The reason why I waited was I didn't want it to get bitter, and I'm gonna add my vinegar. Now again, like it has a little bit of a kick with the vinegar. That's okay. So at this point, I'm actually gonna pour it all on top of the blueberries with the herbs. I wanna make sure that everything's kind of maturing together. So see there, it's just kind of sitting in the blueberries, steeping them in there. So next step is making the glaze. So this has powdered sugar and non-fat milk powder, which I'm gonna easily get in the baking aisle. So I'm gonna put it in your trusty KitchenAid bowl. Get that lovely zester out again, because you know what? We're gonna be zesting more lemon. Now, if you kind of had it with the lemon component, I'm gonna add lemon juice to dissolve all this to make my lovely glaze. If you're like, I don't want any more lemon, and there's no judgment here, you can add milk instead if you want to kind of cool it. I'm just making sure that there's no lumps at all. So I'm gonna add my lemon juice. Gonna give it a nice little tap. That easy. What's nice about this recipe again, and I'm just gonna kind of use this guy, and I'm just gonna make sure it's all incorporated. So it's really quite thin. So we'll save that for when the cake comes out. And this glaze also keeps this cake super moist. The last thing that we're actually gonna prepare is the mascarpone cream. So mascarpone is an Italian cheese. You find it mostly like in tiramisu. It just has a really great texture. Here's some heavy cream. So you're just gonna put it in the bowl. A little bit of powdered sugar. And the reason I'm using powdered sugar and not regular granulated is that it's going to actually dissolve faster into your cream than, let's say, granulated. So you don't want any of that texture. We're going to use vanilla bean again. I'm just gonna take out the caviar seeds. I'm not gonna put the actual seed in there because I don't want to blend it with that. And then we're gonna whip this until it's whipped cream consistency, so dollopable is what I like to say in the kitchen. So you're nice and dollopable. Okay, so let's check on that cake. Okay. So what you want to do is that you want to see that it actually is set. You have a nice golden brown color, and you see some cracks. That's when I know that it's done. Now, at this point, I then glaze my cake. You can do it two different ways. I like a lot of glaze on this cake. You can either invert it out onto a rack, and you can glaze it that way so it cascades around the sides. I want to make sure that glaze gets in every crevice of this cake. So what I do is I take a trusty little serrated knife, kind of make little marks throughout, and I'm gonna pour it on top. And I'm just gonna let it sit so it absorbs this glaze. So I'm gonna let that sit. And so it pulls a little bit on the sides, but again, it's gonna start to absorb as the cake cools down. So you see how moist that cake is? And that glaze is kind of seeped a little bit into it, so it keeps it super, super moist. So like a nice little fresh dessert or breakfast, you know, no judgment. This is your really easy breezy lemon poppy seed cake with pickled blueberries and mascarpone cream.
having a ton of fun, but we're here for some great causes too. In fact, as you know, a large focus of our virtual evening is to come together and uplift and support women in the culinary arts in Austin. So to honor these professionals, the Junior League of Austin has created the Austin Entertains Fellowship, and we are proud to announce the return of the Austin Entertains Fellowship in 2021. So let's hear from Carrie Simple to explain the 2021 Austin Entertains Fellowship and all that it entails.
Through multiple generous donors, the Austin Entertains Fellowship has 2 monetary awards this year. We're so grateful for our donors who have a passion for this event and for how it directly relates to our mission as the Junior League of Austin. The investment in women leaders in the culinary industry is also an investment in the Austin community. The total amount is more than enough to help support a chef's goals in training, business, and life. Which is why this year, our second year of awarding this fellowship, we've been able to award the main fellowship of $10,000 plus a secondary amount of $2,500. This year, through an application process, multiple chefs explained their hopes, their dreams, how the global pandemic has impacted their careers, and how the fellowship will help support them as they reach for their goals while trying to survive the pandemic. This is such an exciting opportunity for us to be able to help the culinary industry in a year when they need our help the most. A committee of Austin Entertains organizers used a rubric to score and help select the winners. We would like to extend our sincerest appreciation to all those who applied this year. This year, Austin Entertains, the 2021 Fellowship winner of $10,000 is the Austin Entertains 2021 winner of $2,500 is Congratulations to our winners. The Junior League of Austin and the Austin Entertains Committee 2021 wish you the best of luck with your endeavors. Back to you, Rosie.
Members of the Austin Entertains Committee gathered together to pull our raffle winner. As you know, a Peloton bike is on the line. Thank you to everyone who showed support by purchasing raffle tickets. Enjoy this presentation of the Austin Entertains 2021 raffle winners. Wow, I just want to say congratulations to our winner and also a congratulations to all of our silent auction winners. Please remember that Austin Entertains committee members are going to be in touch in the next couple of days regarding your winnings to make sure that they go to the right place, okay? It's been a pleasure to spend the evening with you guys. Honestly, it's so cool that we are here to highlight local culinary arts and to celebrate female chefs right here in Austin. Everything that the Junior League of Austin does, of course, is going to a good cause, and it's been really cool to be a part of it tonight. So as we close out our evening, please enjoy a special performance from Datura. You can just keep listening even after I'm done talking here. We look forward to seeing everybody in person for that blowout extravaganza that I told you about in 2022. And until then, we wish you good health and great food. Have a great night.
This next song is called When the Morning Comes, and I wrote it almost a year ago when the pandemic started. And so much has changed since then, and I've changed so much since then, and it wasn't easy, but growth is never easy, and I think we're on a different and hopefully a better place now than we were a year ago. Dark are the days when you don't see the sun, and dark are the times when you're the only one inside your head. Long are the nights when you wake up alone, and long are the hours when you're counting them. Things will get better, we will be stronger, we will wake up and the world will change when the morning comes. We will be wiser, the world that till my wings. So close your eyes and ride on angel wings. We cry low, but we cry together. And together we will ride out this stormy weather. 'Cause it'll get better. We will be stronger. We will wake up and the world will change when the morning comes. We will be wiser. The world will be kinder. We will wake up and laugh or dance when the morning comes. 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 Thank you for listening. I'm Datora. We have Paul Deemer, Greg Clifford, and we're coming at you from East Austin Piano Shop. Thank you, guys.